Hi, it's Barry here. I'd like to invite you to my next webinar, which is on the subject of how to work with post-traumatic stress using techniques from NLP. Now, this is an area where you can make really powerful changes in the lives of your clients. You know, there are some of the things we work with, like, say, for example, smoking or weight loss, where if the person were really motivated enough, they can resolve those issues by themselves. But something like this, it's highly unlikely that anyone is going to resolve their post-traumatic stress just with sheer willpower and determination. So this is an area you can make massive changes in the lives of your clients. Now, I know some people in NLP think, well, you just run them through the fast phobia cure, that'll do it. But post-traumatic stress is often far more than just one specific memory. There's a heck of a lot going on. And so you really need to understand what it is you're doing and have a big toolbox so that you can work with that individual client. Because yeah, there might be some clients who just got one specific traumatic memory and you can do something with that, like a submodality change or something, and give them a great amount of relief. But many of the other people that you work with, they've got a heck of a lot more going on. And so you really want to have a very big toolbox. So in this particular webinar, which is going to be longer than my normal webinars, this is going to be 3 hours long. We're going to take a real deep dive in to the techniques that work with trauma and the effects of trauma. So we're going to be looking initially at how to treat the core memory. And then we've got a number of different techniques that we can use for that. We're also going to be looking at how to work with guilt. One of the things you'll often find when you're working with people with trauma is that there's guilt, particularly survivor's guilt. And you need to be able to work with this and to let that guilt go. Also, there can often be forgiveness. A lot of times people will be very angry and they're holding this anger inside. And as a result, they're not healing. So we need to get them to release the anger and get to the state of forgiveness, where they can really begin to let this go. Now, other clients are going to have internal voices. There could be an internal voice that will tell them that they're not good enough, that they're never going to get over this. And we need to have methods of working with those as well. One of the other big things that so many other therapists seem to miss out is the effect it has on others and the effect that the client, how they will respond to other people. If you're working with a soldier who's been in a war zone, and they've seen death and all sorts of horrible things, it can be very difficult for them to readjust to their friends and their family because of the things they've seen. So we need to have them take different perceptual positions to look at it from other people's perspectives, and oftentimes even work with family members as well to help them heal. We also want to be working with how to deal with the emotion of regret. As you can imagine, sometimes people have huge amounts of regret over whatever it was that happened. So we need to have a way of dealing with that. Now, also you want to be looking at the triggers, because there are certain things that are going to trigger them into feeling bad. As many of you know, I spent a lot of my time with horses and being a rodeo rider and teaching horse riding and training horses. And I've got to work with quite a lot of people in the horse world who, obviously if you have a horse, one of the downsides is at some point you've got to say goodbye to that horse, and there's no easy way of doing that, and typically it's either done through an injection, or some of the traditional people, they have their horse shot. I can tell you from experience that many of those people who have the horse shot have been absolutely traumatized by the sound of the gun, and they can't get that sound out of their head. So that would be a trigger. You know, a trigger like that. Other times I've had people, and it's the sound of the head hitting the floor, that they've been in a fight situation, something like that, and the person's head hit the floor and they can't get that sound. So we want to be able to work with triggers that trigger those sorts of things, because, you know, things like fireworks, things like that can trigger those people to feel bad again. We also want to work on a level of acceptance. This is a real big one. A lot of times if you work with people, they want to go back to how they were before. You know, I just want to go back to how it was before this thing happened. Ain't gonna happen. So we need to work on acceptance. We also need to use all of our linguistic skills in reframing these experiences. so that they can see things differently and have a new perception on it. One of the other things we can do is installing new memories. Now, this is really important. I mean, we know for those of you who've read up on the science of memory reconsolidation, you can change memories. Now, by using some of these techniques in hypnosis and NLP, we can install new memories. Now, we're not going to be denying what happened, but we're going to be changing how they responded in those situations. And if we do this over and over again, that will be the new response. Also, we're going to be learning, we're going into resilience. Now, one of the things about post-traumatic stress is it's assumed that a traumatic event always makes a person feel bad. That's not the case. In fact, over 70% of people who go through something traumatic actually grow from it. There's something called post-traumatic growth. So we want to install this so that they grow from the experience and they use it as a learning experience. And if you do that, you can create really profound change. So this webinar is going to be about 3 hours long. We're going to be really going into the techniques. So we're going to be doing some of the exercises so that you really, when you finish the course, you will understand how to use these techniques so that with your very next client, you'll be able to use them and create powerful, lasting change with them. As always, if you can't make it live, there will be a recording, and that recording will be sent out to you the following day. And the course comes complete with email support and a manual with all the techniques and methods in it. So I hope to see you there. It's going to be a great course, and we're really going to take a deep dive into how you can help your clients heal from post-traumatic stress.